our society, there is an issue with what the rate for a minimum wage should be. I'm going to discuss how raising minimum wage will affect our country. Minimum wage being raised will create several problems. These problems include small companies not being able to afford high wages for small tasks, such as someone having to get paid $10 an hour to do simple tasks that require no intelligence or previous knowledge of whatever they're doing, such as taking out the trash. And from this, it will create less jobs because companies can't afford to pay for the jobs, and this is going to contribute to the higher unemployment rate, which we're trying to get rid of. As Saltzman said in his article in the Wall Street Journal, higher wages will eliminate about 500,000 jobs as an estimate. So who is affected by this? Poor people. Most of the poor people will end up losing their jobs because companies aren't going to be willing to pay them what the minimum wage will be. And small businesses will be affected because they can't afford to pay the workers what minimum wage is to keep their businesses afloat. Now that I've persuaded you that raising minimum wage is a problem, I want to go over why it has arose as a problem in our country. Minimum wage has become a problem due to poverty. People think that increasing minimum wage will help the poor people, but when it gets rid of the jobs, it's not going to help them at all. It's only going to make things worse. And as Harvey said in his article in Forbes, likely when you raise the minimum wage, you'll raise loyalty, lower turnover, and increase demand, assuming you still have a job. And as you can see in this picture, it's a picture of a fast food restaurant. And this guy's upset because he's having to pay $12 for a little hamburger, and this guy's happy because he's getting paid $15 an hour to make a crappy hamburger. Because fast food restaurants, most of their workers are high school dropouts and teenagers, so for them to stay afloat, they're going to have to inflate the prices of their food. So that's a good little picture of that. So it's assumed that you'll get more trustworthy workers when that's pretty much not going to happen. People are going to be who they're going to be, no matter what. And trust is built from good character, not from higher wages. Now that I've persuaded you why it's a problem, I've persuaded you to my solution. My solution to this is just to completely get rid of minimum wage. Doing this will take off the handcuffs that are keeping companies from having more workers for the right salary. It'll create more jobs, because if you think about it, when there's no minimum wage, pretty much anybody can get a job for the right price. It just depends on their knowledge and their skill set. And it'll create higher revenue for the companies, which will also help with more jobs. And once this is all said and done, this will get rid of some of the poverty. Although, not everybody's going to get paid a lot of money because not everybody can do what everyone else can do in the working world. But, because some workers aren't worth the $7.25 that they're getting paid. Being teenagers or people that haven't gone anywhere in life. As Wiseman said in the article in Slate magazine, creating more jobs for low-skilled workers such as teenagers and high school dropouts is what getting rid of minimum wage will actually do. Here is a chart, table I have. It says estimated effects on employment of an increase in the federal minimum wage, second half 2016. This is a projection for the future for $10 an hour minimum wage and $9 an hour minimum wage. So the central estimate is 500,000 workers are going to lose their jobs if minimum wage is brought to $10 an hour. and 100,000 workers are going to lose their jobs if it's brought to $9 an hour. So, even though higher sounds good for the minimum wage, it's going to mean nothing if there's no jobs. No minimum wage should bring plenty of jobs to help bring unemployment from around 9 million to almost none. No minimum wage is how the country flourished before, so maybe we need to go back to the roots to solve the problem.